So what if I told you that the problem in modern day marriages or relationships is not submission, but subjugation? Many people confuse the concept of submission with subjugation. They think that submission is you being silent, submission is you being controlled or walked over. And then they call it love and say, oh yes, that's what the Bible asks you to do. But is that really what the Bible asks? I guess we're going to find out shortly.
Act up, you can get smashed up. Act up, you can get smashed up. Act up, you can get smashed up. Dirty ass, baby girl, you need to back up.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to yet another amazing episode of the Literal Podcast. I'm your amazing host, Ogechi Nze, aka The Phenomenal Oge. And today I have with me a lovely, amazing guest. With me here is my wonderful sister. I'll leave her to introduce herself. So let's hear from you. What's your name?
My name is Frances Nze and I'm her sister.
Yay! We have a guest on the show! Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the concept of submission versus subjugation. Period. So sit tight, grab your tea, your drink, your juice. It's about to be a movie. So my first question, in your opinion, what do you think submission means? What does submission mean to you? And what does subjugation mean in your opinion?
I'll say submission, well, to me anyways, I'll say submission is more like following leadership, trusting someone or something to lead you, because in different aspects of our life we submit. It's not just only in marriage. Like, for example, as a lady, if you go to the salon and you have the hairdresser saying, put your head like this, put your head like this, and you're turning your head exactly as she's saying, you're submitting to her. If not, if you don't do what she says, what's going to happen? The hair will probably not turn out nice, or you guys will get into a quarrel or something like that. And even when we're driving, the red light, you see the red light and you stop. Why don't you keep going when you see the red light? Crazy people,
red light.
Crazy people will still pass the red light, but normal people, when they see a red light, they will stop. So you're submitting to that object, because obviously traffic light is not a human being. So those are different aspects or different examples of submission in our day-to-day lives. It's not just marriage, but I would say in a relationship or in marriage, I would believe that submission is, being able to follow your husband, the leadership of your husband as the head of the home. I'm not saying following blindly, but being at the end of the day, let it be that the final decision, or after you guys rubbing minds and everything, who you are following, the captain of the ship is your husband. But while for subjugation is more like a dictator, I won't say follower, because you don't really have a choice. If you it's not follower. Because following is like a decision. I'm following this person. I chose to go ahead with this person. But a dictator forces you to do whatever they want. So if you're subjugated under someone, you are more like oppressed, and you don't have any choice, and you have to do exactly what that person is saying. So that's the difference.
Right, okay. So I absolutely agree with you. For me, I feel submission is something that is done willingly. So for me, I feel like submission is a willing decision to, go under the authority of somebody, or support somebody's authority, or accept somebody's leadership. Well, in this case now, in the case of marriage, your husband's leadership or authority for the sake of unity. That's what I feel submission is. Submission is something that is given willingly. You're not doing it because you don't have a choice. Submission is accepting that, okay, yes, I have a choice, but I choose to yield my will to yours. That's what submission means to me. Then for subjugation, I feel like subjugation is a forced activity. That's like the opposite. Subjugation involves control, lack of choice, where one person is subduing the other person. So once one party has to lose their voice or their identity or their willingness or their willpower, then that becomes subjugation. In my opinion, that's the comparison between submission and subjugation. But in the African setting, I feel like there's just a thin line between submission and subjugation. What many people seem to practice, or many African men seem to practice, is subjugation and not submission. But they are quick to just scream, oh, the Bible says you should submit to your husband. Yes, we know that the Bible said submit to your husband. Quite all right. But the Bible, didn't it say in the verse preceding that one that submitting yourselves one to another? But it's like men seem to forget to read that part. They focus more on what God told the women to do and forget what God told them to do, which is love your wife as Christ loved the church. And how did Christ love the church? He died for the church. How many men can give their life for their wife, if he ever came to that? Or how many men are that sacrificial to even just put their wives, needs and desires over theirs? That is as little as, as simple as it possibly gets. Many people don't do that. You even hear some funny people say, oh, your wife is not a family member. So please, the Christ never say, we're not his family member. So anyways, I'm going to be getting into that. So everybody catch yourself. So yeah, my second question now is, when exactly does submission turn into control or oppression?
Ideally, submission shouldn't turn into control or oppression, because that is so like we earlier said, that will be classed as subjugation and not submission. If you don't have a choice in the matter of following someone, you're not submitting, you're being oppressed.
Yeah.
For it to be submission, that's my opinion anyway. For it to be submission, it needs to be a decision that you made, that I am following this, I'm deciding to follow the leadership of this individual or this object or this whatever.
Yeah.
Even though obviously there will be consequences for whichever one there isn't. If you don't submit to your husband, it's like trying to have two captains run a ship. What's going to happen to that ship? They're probably going to capsize or get wrecked.
Yeah.
So there needs to be one person. Even in driving a car, for example, there aren't two steerings. For a reason, there aren't two steerings, and there aren't two, the clutch and depending on the kind of car you're driving, accelerator and the brakes. It's on one side for a reason, which means everybody sitting in that car, except the person driving, is submitting to the driving skills of that person. So if they're a good driver, it's good for all of you. And if they are crazy or they are drunk or for any reason, it puts everyone at risk. So everybody is submitting to the leadership of that person. So first of all, I don't agree with that question, because that question is basically talking about subjugation. It is not submission. That's my own.
Okay. So once there's fear or control or oppression involved, it is no longer submission. It has now become subjugation.
Yes.
Thank you. So is submission a natural thing? Is it a natural instinct, or is it something that you teach somebody how to do, or is it something you instill in somebody, or is it just something that comes naturally?
I would say for women, in general, for a lot of women, or let's just say good women, because there are different kinds of women in the world. Before
I agree.
Let's not somebody say I'm being biased because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
So there are different kinds of women. So for good women, if as a man or as a husband, let me not say as a man, as a husband to a good woman, treating the good woman well, submission for her, you wouldn't even need to ever say that you need to submit to me in this marriage and stuff like that. She will naturally submit to you.
Yeah.
Because you are loving her. Right. You're supporting her, you're treating her well. Every other thing that is meant to be done, by a man, you're doing it the correct way. So she will submit to you naturally. I feel like if as a man you have to start referring to the Bible or saying I'm the head of the house, you need to submit to me, there's already a problem.
Yeah.
Because most people who are being submitted to, they don't even have to say This woman, you need to submit to me. This this woman, you're not listening. You need to submit to me on the head of the house and everything. You will show workings already. Like your life already be showing workings. Like you already know what to do, and I'm not saying you'll be perfect because nobody is. Yeah. But at least the basic things, you'll be trying to improve as well. Even if you might, especially at the beginning of the marriage, because a lot of people, if you listen to people who are very, very experienced in marriage, they'll tell you that maybe the first few years they might be a bit rough, which is normal because it's obviously you're two different people from different backgrounds and everything. So, but while trying to evolve, trying to grow on both sides, I feel like submission will come naturally. If it's something that has to be, you have to point it out, you have to tell, you're not submitting, you're not this. Either you married a bad woman, or you are not doing what you're supposed to do as a man. You're not loving her correctly.
Right, okay. So if I get what you mean, and also the part I definitely agree with the fact that submission comes as a response to love. So it's a response to love and trust. If I trust your leadership, and if you're loving me correctly and I feel loved by you, I would naturally want to submit to you. So it will just come to me naturally. So submission becomes easier when love is eminent. So when the love is shown and there's trust, I can trust your leadership. I would gladly and willingly want to submit to you. So the reason why we're having the problem of submission or no submission is because the men are not loving the women right into that submission.
Yes.
So is it safe to say that?
That's what I'm saying. Or you could say they're not doing the right things as well, because you can say, okay, I love my wife and everything, but let's say, for example, you have a money management problem,
right?
Or you have a gambling problem, or you're just very terrible at managing money.
Yeah, you make bad decisions all the time.
You make terrible decisions all the time, and you've been given chance after chance after chance, and you always still do the same wrong thing. It's going to be difficult for a woman who is good at, let's say, who has good money management skills, to continue to go through that and be like, okay, he's the leader of the home, so I shall allow him to drown us into oblivion.
True.
Do you understand? Yeah, she's not going to just she's not going to keep sitting there and say, because it's my husband, I'm just going to stay and continue to be in debt for the rest of my life because I'm following it. No, she's going to, it's natural instinct for her to say, no, I'm not submitting to this crap. I have to do something about this. If not, we're going down below. Exactly.
Broke.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay, so for me, I feel like submission comes both ways, because the Bible says submitting yourselves one to another. So definitely there will be a time when the man will be the one who needs to submit to the wife, and when the woman will be the one that needs to submit to the husband. But men only want women to submit to them, but they're not willing to submit to the woman. So I'll explain myself. I feel like in every marriage, whoever is better at one thing should be the one to handle that aspect. If the woman is the one who is better at managing money, there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying, okay, babes, this is how much I have, this is how much you have as well, this is how much finance we have on the table for this family, to run this family. How do we manage this money? What do we do with this money? Well, how much do we set aside for this? There's nothing wrong with you guys sitting down to bear everything all out, do the planning together. Okay, I have this amount, you have this amount, we bring it together, this is how much we have to run this family, because you guys are partners, aren't you? It's a partnership. So if in a partnership, in any business, both parties call the shots. So both parties have to agree on every decision before it is being finalized. So it's not a dictatorship where you say, okay, I'm the head of this house, so therefore whatever I say stands. Okay, you are the head, but she's the neck, and the neck turns the head. So they both work hand in hand. So it's a partnership. You will not see a headless body moving around. Like neither will you see, a head without a neck to support it standing either. Either one you see, you will run. That's the truth. Either one you see on its own, you will run. So for anything, for the marriage to work, I feel like both parties have to work hand in hand. Okay, I'm better at managing finance. Let's sit down. What do you think? I think this one, we set this amount aside for Ogle. Guy cannot work. I don't think we should do it like that. How would you put 40% of our earnings or 50% of our earnings for spending, for miscellaneous and frivolous spend. Your guy don't want to run records. It cannot work like that. Let's do it this way instead. But definitely it has to be said respectfully, because manner of approach is everything. Because that's what determines whether it ends up peacefully or in a fiasco, and everywhere 2 seconds everywhere goes. So that's the difference. So as far as each party is speaking to the other person respectfully and they can reach a common ground, I feel that the submission would be easier because it's coming from both parties. But when one party feels like I'm the only one who has to submit every time, I always have to be the one to, compromise, then it starts to feel like a chore.
Yeah.
Or it starts to feel unfair.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, can a relationship survive without submission?
No, I don't think so.
I agree.
It's heading for destruction.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to work without submission, because at every point in time, there's always like a decision that needs to be made. I'm not saying it might not be every single day of your life for some people. At some point, different stages of your life, you need to make decisions that are important for the growth and the development of the family or the units. You understand? So based on that, you both always have to have like some form of agreement, and a lot of times there needs to be compromise, because one person might want to do something and another person might want to do another thing, which is totally normal because you're two different people. I mean, even twins disagree. How much more people from entirely different backgrounds, probably different tribes, probably different states. If you're from Nigeria, I'm referring to those from Nigeria, different states and all, even different countries, those kind of things. So there will be a lot of differences. So, but you being a unit, you guys have to decide that, okay, this is what I'm saying and this is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's have a middle ground.
Okay.
Let's have a middle ground, or let's choose one.
Yeah.
Something like that. Sometimes it might be you might be able to come halfway here and get to a middle ground, and sometimes it might not be possible, and it might be that you have to choose one person's own. Whatever it is, you guys both have to decide which one do you feel is the best, and agree to it together and move forward with that. So in that type of scenario, obviously one person is submitting.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So there was this video I saw on social media, I can't remember how long ago it was, but in that video a woman was saying, I think she was like, was she preaching or speaking to like a congregation of people? I don't know whether it was a conference or whether it was a church program. I have no idea, but I can't really remember it, vividly now. But in that video, the woman said, as a woman, God did not call me to love my husband. I'm not expected to love my husband. My husband is expected to love me. I'm only called to submit to my husband. And then the same way, my husband is not called to submit to me. He's only called to love me. In that video, I can't remember whether it was a woman that was saying it or a man. I've heard a woman say it and I've heard a man say it in another video. It's like, oh, my job is to love you. Your job is to submit to me, no questions asked. Do you think that is right? Is it right to say that, okay, me, I'm only to submit to you. Loving you is not my concern. You too, you're to love me. Submitting to me is not your concern. Is that valid? Does that make any sense? When I saw it, I was like, what the? But anyways, what do you think about that?
I disagree, because how can you say that it's only your husband's job to love you, so you should not love him back? That's weird, because why are you marrying somebody that you cannot love or you do not love? I find that very, very weird. It might be okay to somebody else and all that, each to their own, of course, but to me it is very strange for you to be with somebody and say, oh, I don't love my husband, I just have to submit to him. It's a bit cringe. It's a bit cringy to me.
So the excuse this woman had was that in our modern day relationships that we are picking and we're marrying men that we love, that many of them are ending in divorce. But in the olden days, women were not marrying who they loved. They were marrying who, loved them. A man will come and say, okay, I want to marry your daughter. And then your parents will ship you off to the man. Want to say, oh, it's from a good family. You understand? All this arrangee, that's what they call it then, arrangee marriage. Oh yes, this family and this family, we are friends. We are, we support that this marriage is going to work. We feel like, oh, this guy is a very good family, so therefore you will have good values. You say, okay, this girl, she's from a good home, so she automatically would have good values. They have children in their family, they are not barren, they have good history, and then that's enough. And on that grounds, they decide, okay, yes, you marry this man. So they said then, all the advice that those women were giving when they're going into marriage, respect your husband, submit to your husband, and they said it was working. So that's why their marriages lasted long. But I feel like the grounds for judging that something has worked is not how long it has lasted. It's not how far, it's how well. Yes, those marriages lasted long, but check those marriages. What manner of happiness or joy is existing in that marriage? So can we really say it successfully worked? Can we really say that marriage is successful simply because they've been together for 50 years? What if they're just enduring each other? Or one party is praying for the other to die so they can be free? It's true. You've not seen people who are praying for their spouse to die. Yeah. You'll be shocked. I've heard somebody, this girl, she even said to herself that in their house, when they're praying for her father to die, that the father is a tyrant. That even the children said they join their mother to be praying, that their mother has been through a lot. That their dad is just a wicked man. He always hits their mom. He doesn't, treat them right, doesn't speak to them right. He's like a tyrant. Once he comes, everybody's scampering, running up and down. Hey, that is coming. So all of them are praying for the man to die.
That's crazy.
So you can imagine, but you would come out and you say, those people, after all, your parents have been together for 50 years. Their marriage is working. Is it really working? Or are they just enduring each other and cohabiting? In Yoruba, they will say, Tibakamu. You have just accepted your fate. Say, what can we do? Let's have before the ahead. So what do you think about that?
Well, I wouldn't say based on one example I can say that maybe I will give is some of those marriages from the olden days that people are saying, they've been together for so many years and they are still together, so it's working. For my own opinion though, if a woman can leave her husband, he's alive. I'm not talking about widows. A woman who can leave her husband for a very long, extended, an extended period of time, to go and live with her kids in the name of omugwo or helping taking care of their grandchildren for an extended period of. I'm not talking about just going to support your child because maybe it's the first time mom or just to try to make things easier. If you can leave your husband for 2 years and go and live with your child, like you say, I'm helping taking care of the children, or you keep jumping from one, for those who have multiple children who are married with kids, and they are jumping from one to another for extended periods of time, leaving their husband behind. Does that show that there is love in that marriage?
I don't think so.
Because if you love your husband, most people who love their husbands, their happiest period of time is when they become empty nesters.
Yes.
Which is when all their children leave the house and they are alone and they cannot have time to enjoy themselves, have privacy. They are not facing any responsibility, I'm not paying any school fees. All those stressful things that come with the time where you're growing as a family are no longer there. They enjoy their time together. They will still help out with grandkids. Obviously want to see the grandkids over from time to time, but you're not going to see the woman traveling, let's say, over the next 3 years. She's going from this child to this child to this child's house, living there, and her husband is just back in the village or in the house alone. She will not be comfortable with. She will miss him if there is love in that marriage. But the very fact that a woman can do that, it just shows she has no love for that man. There's no, that love is not in that relationship. That's why she can comfortably do it and be fine. She's not even asking, I need to go back home or to take care of my husband or something. I need to go back, I miss my husband. Nothing like that. Just happily staying with your children and all that. So it says a lot. Some people might not read meaning to things like that. They might just go, she's just doing omugwo and all that. But it says a lot about the kind of relationship she has, that woman.
It feels like a joy at last escape moment.
It feels like she's just escaping. She's just glad to be out of the house, to have a good reason to just escape. Because apart from that, it might have been difficult for her to just say, oh, I'm just leaving my husband for 1 year. What reason are you going to give people? It's going to look somehow.
Yeah.
But then my child has a child. Oh yes, my chance, my chance to flee, and then boom, she's gone for 1 year, 2 years, and you're like, why is she away for 2 years? Oh, I'm taking care of the child. No.
Okay.
That's just, and that's an excuse.
Whatever you say, ma.
Yeah, if that makes you happy.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely agree. I agree with that concept, true. I think it has crossed my mind too. I'm like, many women, I feel like in the case of women, many of them are just taking solace in their children. They blanked their husband out of their mind. They're like, okay, whatever this man does, I'm just going to endure him. We're just going to cohabit. I'll just focus all my attention on my children. And that's why you see those women being very overbearing on their children. Even when the children marry, you see them, they still want to be all up in their business. They want to go and live with them, go to their house and be fighting for territory with that one's wife.
Yeah, things like that.
That's when you see things like that happen, because this woman is not loved at home. It's true. If she's loved at home by her husband, she will not be looking for us to go and drag territory in another person. I don't want to be in your house. If you're really loved if your husband is treating you well and you're loved and respected where you're coming from,
that's where you want to be.
You want to be there. Yeah. Your own is, oh, just come and visit you for shelter. I'm missing my husband. My husband is alone. I need to go and take care of him. And they're gone.
Yeah.
But if all is not well at home, you'll be looking for where to run to, and they want to stay there and not come back.
Exactly.
Then you want to make that place your own home because your son listens to you and obeys you. The obedience and the listening ear you don't get from your husband. Once you're getting it from your son, it's like you want to go there, go pipe boots. Abba.
You now make their own life a living hell.
Yes.
And they cannot grow, him and his wife cannot have peace because you are there.
So, I absolutely agree. So now, do you think social media has distorted submission? Because now we're a social media generation, everything's online. Do you think social media in any way has impacted people's knowledge or how people see submission or people's willingness to want to submit to their partner?
I would say yes. I would say yes because some I'm not bashing feminists or anything, but some people that come out and say that I'm a staunch feminist and stuff like that. Some of them in their quest to fight for women's rights and their quest to fight for women, being boss ladies and doing a lot of good things for themselves and all that, they've now overdone it and strayed away from the actual thing, which was giving women independence.
Yeah,
that was the point of that. It wasn't to get a generation of women that are competing or aggressive or becoming masculine.
Yeah, or hateful.
Or yes, because some of those women, when they talk, you're like,
why are you so angry?
Yeah, why are you so angry? You're doing very well for yourself.
Yeah.
You're making a lot of money. You're doing businesses and you're thriving. That's wonderful. It's a good job.
Yeah.
So why can't you just be that
and be happy?
And be happy? Why is that accompanied with a very, very vast hatred of men?
Yeah.
And it's from how some of them talk and everything. It's like we've now moved past just the I'm independent and I can do things for myself and all that. It's now like, oh, men are useless. What is their use? What am I even? You don't need a man for anything. That's all. That is not necessary. And I feel like as a human being, every human being should work.
Yeah.
And be able to take care of themselves. You might not be rich, wealthy, out of this world wealthy, but at least the basics of life to take care of yourself, you should be able to do it. Whether you're a man or a woman. So you now saying, okay, I've attained that, and because I've attained that, then I don't need a man. I don't need, some of them talk, I don't need a man, strong, independent, blah blah blah, all those stuff that they say.
Yeah,
you being strong and independent is good for you. You're not doing it because of a man.
Yeah.
You're doing it
to spite men.
It's not exactly. It's not something to spite men or to shove it in their face that yes, we're also doing this, we're also doing better than you, or making more money than you. It's not necessary. You are doing it for yourself. You're growing. You're building yourself, which is excellent, and everybody should strive for that. I believe every woman should strive for that, but not as a yardstick to say, oh, men, because I've now attained this, okay, so men are just useless, absolutely, we don't need them for anything. We don't this, we don't that. There are a lot of things that men bring to the table that isn't just finance.
Yeah.
Everything is not.
I feel like that's the major problem.
Everything is not finance. Obviously, finance is lovely. Who doesn't want to be a baby girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody wants to be a baby girl and be spoiled by their husband and everything. Yeah. Obviously, different levels. Some people, their own appetite is to buy me a cyber truck every week or whatever.
Big private
or whatever. If your husband can afford that, or you can afford that,
happy days.
Yeah, wonderful. But for some people, it's just the basics,
Yeah.
I want to go on a vacation. My husband plans the vacation. Whether it is a small vacation, expensive vacation, location, now in between my husband, but my husband sorts it out. Anything about my car, my husband sorts it out. Anything about, simple things, anything stressful, my husband just makes sure that I don't stress with physical work and all that. And that is wonderful and lovely to them.
Maintain your feminine energy.
Those are all things, and that doesn't stop you from making money. You're still making very good money.
Yeah.
And somebody else who is your partner is making life easier for you while you're also doing the same. I'm not saying you should be selfish and just be take. That's just, that then makes you a narcissist as a woman. But obviously you're giving back as well. But then as this person is pouring into you, you're also pouring into them and all that. So, but I feel like social media and some class of feminists, not all feminists, because there are some feminists that really speak a lot of sensible things, speak a lot of truth. Some class of feminists have just gone overboard. And feminism. Yes, and what they are promoting now is now more than financial independence and literacy for women, and it's now something else. That I don't know what definitely something else that I'm not part of them. I'm not among those.
I absolutely agree. Social media has, in a way, it has done good, but to an extent, I think it has at some point done more harm than good. But on that same social media, the truth is the way people are propagating, feminism, don't agree for your husband, don't do this, don't accept, you must speak up, you must, be at loggerheads with him. There are still some people who are propagating good marriages and what a healthy marriage should look like. So on that same social media, there are good information and there are bad information as well. You just have to filter the information by yourself and choose to go with the one that is right.
Yes.
But on social media, unfortunately, the people who are saying rubbish are louder and they are more in number. So it now looks as if there is no more good marriage, or there are no good marriages, or there are no healthy marriages. There are. But they are not just as loud as the ones who are going through a lot.
Yes, I agree with that one.
The ones who their marriage and their marriages are not working and they are louder, they are quick to come out and say, hey, men are scum, fear men. I use 23 hours out of 24 hours a day to fear men. And the remaining 1 hour I used to fear who no fear men. Or the other way around, so men are saying fear women. Use the remaining 1 hour to fear who no fear women. They are just louder.
Yeah,
because they are paid.
I feel like I wish some people that were having beautiful, sweet marriages would speak up more. Because a lot of those people that are having sweet, beautiful marriages, they're not on social media.
They're busy minding their business.
Don't care. They don't set up camera to show their husband doing loved up things for them. They are busy. They're too busy really enjoying the moment, not trying to show or portray the moment to the world. That's the thing. So they are too busy enjoying themselves, actually enjoying what is going on to have to, do you know how, I can imagine how much effort it takes to put cameras everywhere.
Yes, I wonder how some people do it.
To act
every day,
a certain thing, or to show that your husband is doing this. It's a bit of it's a lot of effort.
Some of them now start to feel rehearsed because I'm like, how did you know he was going to do that? That you had already set your camera for the moment. You can imagine somebody who is claiming you were at home, had no clue, no idea that your husband is coming to do anything, and somehow you had cameras already set from when he entered the house. Come on. And then brought the surprise people. How you take notes, sister, please. They sent you flowers at work. You will now have something that films from when the person that's delivering it came into the building, spoke to your colleagues. Who videoed it?
It might be somebody else that video.
Okay, let's assume that somebody else did. But more often than not, I feel like some of those things are just
curated.
Yes, I think some women who even follow my husband did not, some of them surprise themselves. Let's not even lie. Women are very wonderful characters. I'm telling you the truth. And I know that there are some women, some will not come later after the thing does scatter. When the marriage or the relationship has scattered, you now start hearing, I bought myself some of those cakes.
That's the thing that has to give me headache. Because I'm like,
who are you pressuring?
We've already come to pressure us on social media.
Exactly.
We're already doing, oh, this and that. Then later you now come out and be like, oh my God, my husband was doing this. My husband was abusing me. In fact, I went through a lot. You know, I was reduced.
I had to live for my peace.
I had to live for my peace. I had to live with what was left of me. I lost myself in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to belittle what they went through.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, you were going through all this, but you portrayed something different on social media.
So who were you deceiving?
So you were deceiving yourself then, not us. Well, you deceived us. You deceived all of us. Together. But the person who you deceived the most was yourself. Because now at the end of the day, you're coming back to us and now be explaining. I feel like maybe that's why some people don't bother to come out, because they're like, if this thing does not work out, I don't have energy to be explaining. To come back to be explaining to these same people again. I've already done God when I'm doing
Fill everywhere for your comment section.
Exactly. Then you have to come back and explain to these same people that no, it wasn't so. It was all curated. It was all this. This was not what was really happening, you know. And it makes people. Some people have just lost faith in love because of that. Because I'm like, how do you have some people that are like your social media? Like you've already used them as a standard. You shouldn't do that because you should know that social media is curated. But some people do that and they take things like literally to heart. Like, oh, I've seen how these people, oh my God, I really want this saying. You know, meanwhile, every day she's chopping blow. Until she now comes out one day and says, oh no, he used to beat me every day. In fact, before we put the camera, we finished fighting and punching and I went to do makeup to cover it, to come and do something. And then people see that and they're like, oh, there's no hope. There's no hope in love if these people can be divorced or can scatter or thingy.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. A lot of things are happening.
Yeah. So we're going to be taking a break now, and we'll see you same time next week. Don't touch that dial. If you haven't already liked this video, what are you waiting for? Do well to like this video, drop your comments in the comment section, share this video to your friends, family, loved ones. That your friend is always posting videos that are touching your heart every day. They are doing send it to them. Yes. That your friend that is struggling with submission in their marriage, send it to them. Your friend that hates men, that is a feminist, send it to her. All these people need to listen to this video and change their ways today. And we'll see you same time next week for part 2 of this video. Signing out. Bye.